country, if we got it wrong, it's from the education. If we want to get it right, it's from the education. On the first one, I think we have, as a ministry, we are very, very serious. Like I said in the morning, now you have a whole directorate responsible for cybersecurity, and we have appointed a director for cybersecurity. We are coming up with a legislation on cybercrime. We have a cybersecurity policy and strategy. On the infrastructure, the GMSAT is established, a digital forensics lab is established at the police. I think a lot is happening just to make sure that we are really serious. I think this was the reason why a lot of people were commending the ministry, like I said before, but we know we still need to do a lot as a country. It is not just our responsibility as a ministry, but I think it is the responsibility of each and every one of us here. And finally, I would just say we need to take this conversation one-on-one at our homes and everywhere, because providing some of your details, I think like Biran said, we happily give our details. You see a funny message that essentially this is very funny. I had a friend, it's like, I'm being told I'm winning this. I said, no, come on, don't mind this. But come on, the guy thrusted. I was surprised, really, and this is an educated person, really. So if someone educated can trust, some of these messages, how about, our folks out there, really? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Amadou. So in terms of the IGF, I think it's a fantastic question, and I think that will be a challenge for us, the steering committee. Amadou, Khadija, you guys are still here, Menge, Ismaila, the rest of the team. I think we need to take this back to the steering committee and really discuss how we can work with the National Youth Council at the level of their representatives in the regions to possibly have a grassroots IGF maybe, and then build up to the national IGF. This could be something that we could look at, and I'm sure this could be something we can work out the logistics on. A lot of steering committee members come from all the regions. We have a very diverse steering committee, so I think this could be possible, maybe even next year. So we'll capture it in the communique and we'll take it as a challenge. So thank you for that, Mustafa. I think that was a fantastic question. I'm just going to do a quick wrap up, just to remind you of what was discussed for those that just came in from the Youth IGF. So we'll thank the Ministry of Justice representative, Mohammed. Thank you for coming on such short notice. Mohammed, in his interventions, he did touch on he welcomed how the data protection bill was able to clearly define data in terms of the current trends and taking into account technology as we know it today, clearly defining data subjects and who has oversight over the data, the authority and the commissions that will be created post when the bill is enacted. And he also recommended some best practices for when we do want to have some success with some of the bills that are coming through to the National Assembly, to possibly do awareness campaigns at the level of the National Assembly and some of the subcommittees that are in charge of some of these bills. So we will take note of that, Mohammed. Thank you so much for those kind words. Joseph from the Webway, that's also by extension rolling out a Jokalante app, connecting farmers to buyers. The question arose, how is the data that's collected from the farmers, how is that being regulated? How is AI, your hour, how is that being regulated? Is it as value added as it is risky? What is that fine line? And these were some of the things we discussed. And what I wanted to highlight here, which I wasn't able to highlight when we spoke, was the Roots project and their market information system. They're also doing literacy training, which I found really interesting. They're teaching farmers how to recognize numbers and how to weigh their produce. Because if you're going to use a platform like Jokalante, you're going to have to know how much weight you're selling, how many kilograms, how many tons. If you are not literate, you're not going to know how many kilograms of potatoes you have done for harvest. Who's going to do that weighing for you? So the Roots project has gone that extra level of grassroots capacity building, and they're actually doing literacy training for farmers. They're teaching them 1, 2, 3, as simple as that, how to add numbers and how to weigh their produce, which I think would really count well in making sure your platform is a success. Moving on to Amadou Nyang, thank you for staying. He's been here the entire day, from morning. So thank you for coming and thank you for staying. You touched on the importance of developing policy, developing bills afterwards, but then we did discuss the possibility of engaging grassroots organizations like ITAG, like Cybersecurity Association, and other associations that are out there that have grassroots connection to be able to really support your policy work and be able to fast track some of these things so that we're not able to play as much catch up in terms of creating or developing those regulations and those bills. And last but not the least, I have my Badara Saupulo, who's made some very, very interesting I would say suggestions and clarifications, and truly educated us in terms of the importance of data, putting it into context to the everyday person using the internet, and also clearly defining the importance of having those conversations early. And I think that is something that was also highlighted by our gentleman from the CPA. It's really important that we know some of these bills and laws that are being enacted. We need to read these documents. And I think also the onus is on us as associations to ensure that we create symposiums where some of these policy documents and some of these bills and regulations are discussed. And I think that was what Badara was pushing, and we will do better. We will do better. That's a promise. So let's talk next year and see how far we've gone. But I think that's a wrap in terms of the interventions that has happened. We thank you for your time. We thank you for staying till after 5, and we'll see you all tomorrow.